Welcome back, folks. I'm thrilled to bring you the second episode of Spotlight series. In this journey, we continue to spotlight creative and passionate individuals making a global impact in their respective fields. Today's topic is one that affects every corner of our planet: climate change. As promised, I have brought on an inspiring guest whose work is shaping the future of our world. Please join me in welcoming Professor Katherine Ricke, a renowned climate scientist whose groundbreaking research has been influencing policy and action worldwide. Professor Ricke, it's an honor to have you here.
Hi, I'm Katherine Ricke. I'm an associate professor at the University of California, San Diego, where I'm a climate scientist working both at Scripps Institution of Oceanography and on climate policy at the School of Global Policy and Strategy there. So I'm here for the workshop on solar geoengineering scenario development, where we're talking about the different ways in which solar geoengineering could happen and how it might affect India and how India can be involved in the science. Solar geoengineering is an approach that people are talking about for using to counteract the effects of global warming by reflecting incoming solar radiation. So the idea is to block sunlight in order to reduce some of the warming that's caused by greenhouse gases. Sort of a controversial idea, and we still don't know a lot about it, but that is one of the main topics of my research.
Fascinating, Professor. Let's dive deeper into this critical conversation and explore the changes and solutions around climate change.
I think one of the main challenges that's associated with solar geoengineering and solar geoengineering research is that there's no agreement on how and when and under which conditions it would be used. And so everything that you can simulate and learn about what the effects might be, it depends on what you've assumed about how is happening, whether we have a lot of warming or a little warming, who is making decisions about whether to block sunlight, how much sunlight, and there are different methods that people talk about as well. There's one in which you put aerosols into the stratosphere, where they would spread out and block sunlight, versus another proposal called marine cloud brightening, where you seed low-lying clouds to brighten them and make them reflect sunlight. But those marine clouds are only in certain places. So in that case, the sunlight blocking is very concentrated in certain regions as opposed to spread out. And the effects that these sunlight brightening approaches would be different depending on how you do them and what the rest of the world looks like at that time.
Great. Could you recommend some climate related movies for our viewers that are not only engaging but also scientifically accurate?
Snowpiercer, I think, is it. So it's this idea that they tried to do geoengineering, and it went wrong, and the planet turned into an ice planet instead, where almost everyone died except for a bunch of people that live on a train that just keeps going around and around the world forever. Completely scientifically inaccurate.
Professor, would you like to share a story or an experience that highlights the reality of the climate crisis?
So I live in California, and it's been definitely notable how wildfires are becoming a bigger and bigger problem, and that the other thing I work on is the relationship between climate change and air quality, where the traditional way people think of those being connected is through reducing emissions of carbon dioxide. You also reduce emissions of the other pollutants that we release at the same time we burn fossil fuels. But in California, a lot of our air quality events are associated with wildfires now instead. So even if you clean up pollution from cars and industrial facilities, we keep on getting worse air pollution, but it's because of the wildfires instead.
Great.
It's kind of a sad story, actually. That you can do to try and manage land and mitigate fires directly better in order to adapt to it. But the only thing we can really do is stop changing the climate by stop emitting greenhouse gases. So it's going to take a while, unfortunately, but that's what we have to do. So
Great. Thank you so much, Professor, for sharing your incredible insights into climate change. Your work is truly inspiring and hope for a sustainable future.
okay, hopefully that was helpful.
Yeah. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Stay tuned for more inspiring stories from changemakers around the globe. This is your host Rajan signing off. See you next time on Club TV.